words. Thank you.
Oh boy, we're here. We're here. Am I loud enough?
I assume
Move with the
so.
gain. Should move with the gain a little bit. I know I've had problems with this mic and like the gain, and sometimes it's too low, sometimes it's too high.
Sound good on my end. How the hell do I remove this? All right. How do I?
Dude, that jet lag is killing me right now.
I can imagine. You got to be
I went to work today.
Oh my god. Yeah, you got to not be great.
It's okay though. We're fixing it. Oh, we're live.
Yep, we are live. Welcome.
Oh boy, what is going on, my Weiss Schwarz Meisters? Love all you guys. So
everything's been going good. How was Japan, Dean?
wonderful. You know, I feel like I needed it. It's been like 3 years of like nothing. Finally get to go again, climb some mountains.
I know.
Cross some bridges.
We went from like going like every year to no more traveling allowed anywhere.
Yeah, that was the rough part, but thankfully it wasn't too hard. I was a little worried before the trip because and you know, you're just like, man, what happens? Like, bro, like, what happens if I randomly get sick, right? Because there's all that COVID stuff going on. And it's like, oh, dude, like, am I gonna get hit by a temperature sensor? Thankfully, you know, didn't get hit by any of that stuff, so it was all good. Got there, no struggles at all, and then it was just pretty much, you know, do whatever you want.
Yeah, lose all your money. Understandable.
Yeah, it was spent a lot of money on cards.
How'd they do masking in public areas?
Just wear a mask.
Yeah, just wear a mask everywhere. Yeah,
it's Japan, so like, you know, people actually follow the rules.
Yep. Yeah, that's what I expected.
Yeah, I brought some masks with me, and then I lost them on the plane. So my first trip was to a 7-Eleven where you get a pack of 35 masks for
no money at all.
I think it was like $5. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's good to have you back, Dean.
Yeah,
we missed you for that month. You know, having to talk at getting a message from you at like 8 p.m. and 7 a.m. for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
James. Did you take this man out to dinner?
Ooh, did you?
Okay. Oh, dude, I got tricked, dude. I got up and go use the restroom, and this fucker paid for the bill.
My God.
Oh no.
Don't
He's
worry.
the best.
I'm gonna get him back. What's gonna happen is hopefully he stopped watching the stream already. I'm gonna invite him out one day when my girlfriend's down here with the Vegas people, and then when he's not looking, I'm gonna pay for the bill, and then he's gonna get fucked. That's the plan.
Destroyed.
Yeah.
Destroyed, saving a man money. Yeah.
Yeah. What about I guess we can get more into Dean's trip and stuff, like all the stuff he experienced, but I guess let's catch up with Carmen and holy shit, that is really big and it takes up the entire screen.
Yeah, I feel like I'm going to be taking a long time once I get into my stuff.
Yeah, so I guess we'll start with Hanson's still here, right? Or did he leave?
Yeah.
Okay. How was you went to the California Regional, right? Did you almost make top 8, right? I think you're part of the people that got screwed really bad, or
yeah, I went 6-1, and because of like the number of rounds we had, like didn't make it in the end. I think I supposedly had like really good tiebreakers, so it's like extra unfortunate, but I understand why they couldn't do like extra rounds, so it's like just kind of unfortunate in the end, I guess.
I saw you won a 40-person locals recently.
Oh yes, that did happen.
People. You got it. I saw you at a crown.
Bro, those are pretty big locals.
It is. So like
that's like
oh, was it that $500 one I saw?
It was a really cool card shop with the art, right?
It was $600 because we had like 40 people in the end.
Nice.
Bro,
yeah.
Professional player.
Yeah, I saw.
That's pretty sick.
Yeah, I saw a tweet about it on Twitter, obviously, and I was like, "Oh dang! I wish I Wish I cared more, and if I saw this sooner, I might have made the drive up. But the drive is like, I think,
5
is it
hours.
is it 9 hours? Yeah, fuck that. Never mind. I'd be by myself. Fuck that. Oh my god, I remember driving like 8 hours or so for the English regionals when they were in NorCal also. And those rides were fucking horrible. Like I got used to driving long distances.
Wait, when was it
from
in NorCal?
a long time ago, back when Modica and like Love Live were like the two sets in existence in Sword Art
Yeah,
Online.
Kits as OG as it gets.
Yeah. But yeah, those trips were very long and very painful. And even now that I'm like used to driving further, I don't think I could do fucking 8-9 hours in a day. That I just want to blow my brains out.
We
Oh,
used to do that all the
Less than
time.
that, but I think it's like only like 6 or something. But still
6
pretty
seems more
long, I guess.
manageable. And screw you, Dean. Those I want to blow my brains out in all those car trips. You're like, I don't want to pay the extra $50 to take a plane flight to New York,
don't.
guys.
Whoa, it's $50 extra per person. Okay.
So this is the plan. We're all gonna get in a car together and fucking drive 12 hours.
Those were some good
They-
bonding times.
It was fun, and we found that really sick Russian restaurant along the way to New Jersey, which was really good. But
That's right. Those car rides, they're why teams are fun. Okay, I'm just gonna say it.
True, but also doesn't mean I don't want to blow my brains out like 8 hours into the drive.
Nah, you weren't even the one driving.
Oh, what the fuck? We took turns driving, except that one day where you're like, I refuse to stay. We're gonna keep driving till 6 a.m.
I passed out at a certain point.
Yeah. Yeah, see,
Hanson out
Daryl
here
knows
winning
60
these big
hours of
locals.
absolutely nothing fucking blows. The other thing, yeah. Okay, so let's see, SoCal Regionals happened. Carmen, any updates with you? What have you been up to?
I don't know. I've been taking kind of like a break, like super heavily thinking about English and everything, and just been playing some of these like newer releases. Licorice Recoil is gonna kill me. Might not be able to buy a house this year because of that set. Not anything that ridiculous. But it is gonna hurt me wallet a lot. So that is that's basically where I'm at.
Sounds right. And you've been playing Pokemon a lot lately, right?
Yeah, I've been dipping my toes into Pokemon.
Oh yeah, we're gonna be a Pokemon channel soon too.
Yeah, it's been really fun. I feel like it rewards the skill set I have developed playing Weiss. The game's frighteningly similar in terms of like
Yeah.
what rewards you.
Yeah, part of the reason I got like really into it too during that time when I was playing it on the side was because I thought it was very, very similar to Weiss. I think there's some old
Yeah.
videos of me saying like the whole reason I picked up Pokemon was because when I played it, it felt like I was playing Weiss, except like slightly different, you know?
I feel like it's a little bit. The one thing that Pokemon has that Weiss doesn't is it doesn't give you as fringe of scenarios to like have to deal with. But also at the same time, the nice saving grace of Pokemon is like you can at least see stuff coming. And Weiss sometimes you eat like a 9, like you eat like 9 straight, and you're just like, when did this happen?
Yeah.
But like in Pokemon, you're like, oh no, I'm bricking, and then you brick the next turn. You're like, well, that happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like to see that. Carmen and is joining the same game as me right now on the side.
Yep. Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
And one thing I will always praise Pokemon for is card art is always fucking top
my God.
notch.
My God, the cards look so fucking good. I love
Don't
opening packs.
feel them.
I-
Don't
I-
feel them though.
I love opening product for Pokemon. It's
Same.
It's like it actually feels like, you know,
It's-
the cards are actually fun to open.
Though it's unbelievable when you pull the trainer gallery and you're like, oh my God, this looks so beautiful. And then it's like 50 cents. And you go, oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That happens.
Yeah, I've seen some of those like two things I saw recently for Pokemon. One, they're getting rid of the worst rarity in fucking existence, rainbow rares,
The
right?
rainbow
fucking
rares,
hate
you're like,
those. I hate them
lower
so
drop
much.
rates, it's worth less.
Yeah, I know. I remember opening a fucking rainbow rare Charizard and I was mad it was rainbow rare. So I sold it immediately. I was like, fuck this. And then every time I see like trainers, I'm like, oh, this card art is so beautiful. And then I look at the rainbow rare, I'm like, this is fucking disgusting. It's like someone ate a bunch of cotton candy and threw up. Like,
it's like you can't even tell what the card is half of the time, and you're like, why would anyone want this? It's like, surprised they don't. Oh, well, why do they make it?
Yeah.
Oh man. And the other thing is I've been seeing they're doing a lot of Pokemon with like the full art Pokemon now with like trainers and stuff in it.
Those are the trainer galleries. Those are good.
Yeah. Those look
they're cheap.
good.
So good. Yeah.
They're so cheap.
Yeah, whenever I go out or whatever, I like look through the case whenever I'm at like a card store to see what trainer ones they have. Those full art ones, and I'm like thinking of picking up a bunch of them just to like have in my folder because they're just, the art is so good.
That's the scary thing about that game is like I've spent so much money on the game without even, I think I have like a deck and a half, but I've spent so much money and I'm like, I don't know what's happening. I just keep buying. I'm buying full art Misties. I don't know what's going on.
I don't do that. I built Mew because the League Battle decks were a thing. Also, Pokemon product aimed at players. Holy shit, is it good? Like, I bought
dude, those Mew deck is good.
2 Mew League Battle deck boxes for like $30 each for my LGS, and then like some singles from their singles box. Because holy shit, every store on the earth has singles, and I have the full deck. And then I went out, and our region does a lot of GLC, the Gym Leaders Challenge format. So I built a deck for that, and it's like on the way. So just to give me options, because like days for recording, days for playing Weiss, the days that I can play Pokemon every week changes, but we have a locals every day here, so like I can go to
the healthy scene.
I can go play Pokemon pretty much any day of the week, provided I have a GLC deck and a standard deck.
I think it's one of those things though too, like going from Weiss to Pokemon, like seeing like the different variety of like products and stuff like that come out for that game compared to Weiss, it feels like night and day difference, right?
Yep.
Yeah. They definitely like, and then like the whole trainer packages and stuff. I forget what they're called. Like I buy those occasionally too. Yeah, I buy those too.
Elite trainer boxes.
Yeah, the elite trainer boxes and things like that.
Ooh, those are good. Even as a Weiss player, right? Like even if you don't play Pokemon, but you just want to collect a little bit.
Yeah.
Good card storage.
Oh yeah, that's true. I got like some order cards and people like ship it in those boxes too. I just use them for storage now. But yeah.
They're pretty sick. I like them. I like the sleeves, but yeah.
Yeah.
So those are the main things going on with Hansen and Carmen.
I think so. You got anything else, Hansen? Yeah. I know we only kind of talked about the English regional. Anything else going on with you?
It was pretty much that. I'm just also kind of taking what kind of slow since I didn't make it for World.
I know. That's the one thing about. I don't know how, like, technically, I think they were supposed to run one more round, like, not to keep always shitting on Bushiro, because I think this happens at least once every year.
Dude, when people were, like, complaining, I'm like, I just remember this happening literally every single year, like, at 2 to 3 of these.
Yeah.
Like, the only places that get enough rounds are the ones where 20 people show up in Europe, and then they're like, wow, we can run 7 rounds for the 20-man regional, so X5s get in. Like, like what? It's like, that's pretty much like the only time I ever hear that there's enough rounds in a Weiss tournament.
Yeah, you know the funny thing is, someone did the calculations. Even if we had 1 more rounds, there's still a chance an X1 doesn't make it.
Yeah, I think how many X1s didn't make it? Wasn't it like 6 or something ridiculous? Like
there was 15 X1s or better total.
Oh, okay. So like about 6 or so didn't make it. 6, 7. Yeah, it's feels pretty shitty. I think Weiss is the only game I've ever played competitively where if I go X1 in bracket, I didn't make top 8 or like the top cut.
You gotta like go X1, but the 1 loss is in the last round. Like if it's not the last round, you're never out of the danger zone until then.
Yeah,
it's usually because Weiss doesn't have that much showings, right? So it usually isn't a problem.
It usually it usually isn't. But
It was always New York and the bigger ones where it
yeah.
was like what happened, but like it would just like it would completely destroy people.
Well, one of the big issues though is that I think even in like the tournament rule books and stuff and how they have it set up, is that they're supposed to go until there's only one or less XO left in Swiss before they cut off Swiss rounds. I'm pretty sure I don't know if I'm like gaslighting myself and I've been saying this to myself forever and I believe it now or something. But from my understanding, that's how the tournaments are supposed to be ran, like even in their
Well,
tournament guides, right? But
it is, but in the tournament guide, it also says the capped at 7.
oh, I didn't know they had
Mm.
that. Has that always? How
Yep.
long has that been in there? Do you know? Or
I think it was always there because of like venue restrictions and stuff. Because they
Venue
want to like
restrictions,
end
staff.
up on time.
didn't we?
Because
Didn't
of how
we
long
have?
Weiss takes.
Yeah, didn't we have a regional recently though that had 8 rounds?
Well, yes, New York had 8 rounds because
They can't
I think
follow their
they-
rules.
they
See,
had
this is what I'm
like
talking about. No, no, go ahead.
they
Sorry.
had a longer venue time, so
Yeah.
Mm.
that was fine.
Do you think
But
there's like
not so lucky in Cali?
do you think there's any way for them to fix this at all? Like I think if they want to keep
I
like the same time
No.
thing,
So from what I heard, they're trying to like push back from 35 back to 30 minutes per round. Maybe that will like give us enough time to squeeze an extra round in.
I know. I think there's like a lot of problems to do with the process of how long the match slips take. Plus, like there's like staffing problems with like the rounds and like how soon they get started. And
Yeah.
it's like when you start adding an extra round, it's like that's more for these people to do, and that's more time. I think that the process on the judges' part and on the staff's part would need to be streamlined more than the
Yeah.
players, and also something to do with the time rules. 10 minutes or the fact is like it doesn't feel real, like
I mean,
because they're like,
yes,
oh, you get going into
35
time
plus
doesn't feel
10
real.
sounds like a lot.
Yeah, so rounds, and then like after that you still got to get the match slips together and all that. So there's a lot of things that they're gonna need to work with, which is why
Yeah.
I wish we had that Bushi Nav or whatever, or the tournament
yeah, that's what I was gonna
software.
bring up too because they have to hand type everything into the system between rounds too. And I remember, was it like 2 years ago now? Like Bushi Nav was supposed to come out and like streamline a lot of this process. Like you build your deck on this app itself and submit your register everything through the
Yeah.
app, and that
It's in Japan forever now, I think.
And also like
so Japan actually has it up and running. I haven't seen
Yeah,
anyone
yeah.
talk
Yeah.
about it, so okay. I thought it was gonna come to English as well, but it's been so long I don't remember if they
Games-
said that or not.
I mean, it probably has to do with like the scope of the game on the English market and the cost to migrate the app or something. Probably tied into that. Though
Maybe,
consider the
yeah.
fact that it would also handle Vanguard and Vanguard.
Yeah. The big thing
pretty
is
big.
Vanguard is so huge, and like they like some regionals they have to split it up into like 2 pools of players, right?
Yeah.
I don't think that happens as often anymore because of how there's like 4 different formats now for Vanguard, and they rebooted the game like 5 times already.
Yeah.
But like it's still a lot. Like Vanguard still takes up most of the room, I believe, in general. And so like streamlining even Vanguard would and everything would like help everyone overall.
Yeah. So like I think that they need to like eventually look at something like that, because I think that is the bigger thing, because when you start looking at stuff, it's like we as players want an extra round, but then you got to look at it. It's like how many people are working the floor at the venue. It's like the venue closing time is like a big thing, but also like how long you're paying your staff for. An extra round might cost them an extra like $300 in staff alone, right?
Yeah. Well,
So
do you
it's
think sorry, go ahead.
it's pretty rough.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it's like pretty rough.
Do you think I don't know if this would even be like I'm pretty sure this would work, but I don't know if this is like good in the long run. Is like if you hit that thing where like technically there's supposed to be 8 rounds in a tournament according to like how they're supposed to run the events. What if they just broke up the Weiss players also into 2 pods, and like instead it's like 2 64-man brackets, or what, not brackets but like pools instead, and then just have up to 2 like pools or whatever.
From what I heard, like that will double like deck check time, and that we don't have enough staffing to do deck check.
Yeah, true,
There's
true.
like a huge problem with like Weiss and like
I mean,
the
you
general
could-
judge.
You could break up the pools into 2 random pools. Like, I'm just throwing stuff out there, and like instead of doing top 8, you do top 4 of each, and then top 4 of each play like as top 8. You know, I don't know. I don't know if that's something people would want or if it's even feasible, really. But I'm just throwing shit out there because sometimes yeah, coming to these events, some of us spend the money and time to go out there. And I kind of want it to be like as fair as possible, because being someone who goes X1 and not making top 8 is like blow my brains out type of situation. Especially if you spent your money to be out there, you know.
It's a little rough, but yeah, it is what it is. I don't know. I think it's like it just feels like a little bit worse than like when you're like 0-2 at like round 2.
Well,
But,
when you're
it's like the same thing.
yeah, if you're 0-2, you know you're not fucking making it though. At least.
Yeah, it's
but like when you're X1 and you're going into your last round and you win your last round and you're still X1 and you're still like, I don't even know if I still made top 8.
that's true. Yeah, it's like pretty shitty, but I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's been like a thing that like I accepted a long time ago.
yeah.
So.
I mean, when we play this game, we all accept all the horrible shit that comes along with it, and along with all the fun, obviously. Like I think 3 times in this game, I've been basically cucked out of top 8 by going X1. Two of them at Bushiroad events. One of them at a win a case tournament, and I went X1, and I didn't make the top 8 to play for the case, and I was like, God damn it.
Damn.
And I paid to be in that tournament too, but that's whatever. I was just like, whatever. They laid out the rules exactly how they were going to run the tournament, and they ran it that way. And it turns out I was the only X1 that didn't make top 8 because my tiebreaker was the worst. But yeah,
that shit happens.
Yeah,
I mean,
that
happened. Like, what was it in New York? I got like 9th or 10th or something like that. Like on the bubble, I played Fate for that too. I was like, oh come on.
Dude, diversity rule would have got you in.
Yeah, diversity rule.
Oh.
But hey, whatever. I came close. But I don't know. My motivation for singles was definitely extremely less. I think we talked about this before by the fact there was no trip on the line. I was like, really? LA? I hate that place.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
After my Chicago run of top 8ing and then getting destroyed by Clinton both in Swiss and top 8, only loss of the day too. All right, that was bullshit. But after that too, I was just like, you know, that was my run for. I got the playmat, and like, I'd like to win the trophy or whatever, but I'm not dying to like really play this game right now. And then, unfortunately for me, like I got COVID during the same week as the event in California, so I couldn't even go to California. I couldn't even if I made signups and everything, I couldn't even hang out with my friends. Like even if I didn't like play in the event, because I had a lot of people from Vegas and out of town and stuff who came to California, and I just couldn't hang out with anyone because I was just literally dying in my bed, which sucked. But yeah, is that it for? That's basically it for us catching up. Do you want to talk about, I guess, the sets and stuff coming out before we get into Dean's trip and everything else, or what do you guys?
Like Goreko's gonna kill me,
bro. I can't believe. Okay, Japanese was fine. I was super hyped. I was super hyped when I heard 10-year-old sets, 3 of them getting some support, and I was like, oh boy. Bro, just sky is time to shine. It's finally time. It's the only thing that makes sense. And then they announced like Love Live or something. I don't know, like OG Love Live.
Well, I think those are 2 different things.
I know that they're 2 different things, but like it was like the overlapping timing, bro. I was so hyped. You don't know how hyped I was. And then and then I was very sad. I think Spy X Family's good. Lyco is something that a lot of people like. And then like what Disney? Who cares about Disney?
I'm really glad they already pre-announced Spy X Family for English, so now I know not to buy the Japanese, and I'm probably just gonna build that in English only. And there's a chance I dump a lot of money into it? Maybe, but yeah. But I'm excited for that. Wasn't there something else they announced too?
Lyco was the big one for most people.
Yeah.
Puzzle and Dragons.
Oh, Puzzle and Dragons! I forgot about that. I was out of
that might have some sick art. That might have some really good art.
Yeah. The art from the mobile game is really good, but also I was like, wow, Puzzles and Dragons is still like avidly played and popular in like the year 2023. I did not know this. Like, I think the last time I touched Puzzles and Dragons had to be like 6 years ago or something.
I have never touched this thing. I don't know anything about it.
All right, well, let me tell you, there's a lot of puzzles and there's occasionally dragons involved. So
insane. Yep. They give you what they tell you they're going to give you.
Exactly. I hope they have a mechanic where if you have all the same color on the board, it just like everything dies. and just disappeared. But that was a really weird set. And then I guess Bushiroad, they have now official gaming thing or whatever, and they announced a bunch of games, right?
Something like that.
Yeah, I know a lot of the games they announced were like sets they have in Weiss, and we're like, damn, they're getting making a game for these things before they even release like a second set in Weiss or anything. Because like, wasn't there was a couple games in there that like I know there was Grisaya. They announced Grisaya,
And
Eminence and
there's the
Shadows,
Review
right?
game.
What game?
Review.
Oh yeah, Review also.
Mm.
Oh yeah, Review Relive coming to English. What a
Oh my, yeah,
Oh,
that
yeah.
was the one I was waiting to have come up. I was so
Guilty Gear
pissed.
coming to Weiss, dude. That's
confirmed.
insane.
Guilty
Yeah,
Gear,
sure.
100%. It's happening. It's happening. Listen, Guilty Gear's coming to Weiss.
Damn. What else could it be?
I can't wait for like the climax to be a burst climax, and you know, so you can get out of that damage. All right.
That
would be
one,
sick.
like, it could literally happen though. That's what's crazy. It might. Who knows?
Listen,
Um,
I know a leaker in the Singapore office, and they told me already that
Confirmed.
yep, Guilty Gear's coming to Weiss, and they confirmed already Soul Bad Guy is the best climax combo.
I would probably buy a Guilty Gear set just to have.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah, I
too.
mean it's a cool IP.
Yeah, it used to be in a different card game, or no, that was Blaze Blue. I don't think did they have Guilty Gear in that old card game. Dude, I still have my Blaze Blue deck from that series too. Forgot what it's called. It was some fighting game TCG a while back. I'd have to look up the cards again.
Hmm.
Oh, and Senran Kagura was in it too. But yeah,
That sounds good. That's good.
it is good. Let me tell you. Was there any other English announcements for coming to English?
I think it's supposed to be tomorrow, or is it
Yeah,
tonight?
we're getting more at Worlds.
Am I supposed to stream tomorrow night? I thought that there was like the
It's at
conference
Worlds, right?
coming
So
out.
it's
It's at Worlds, so it's
Worlds.
this weekend.
Oh, okay.
Ooh, yeah, and then he's gonna hear the Guilty Gear and all that. But yeah, wait, why did they bring the second set review all of a sudden too? Like,
Dude, because they don't want to print actual relevant products in English. They want to literally print dog shit. We don't get relevant. We get we get like Spy X Family's good, but then we get like Psychono 2 10 years after it comes out, and then we get
At least
Revu
Icon
2.
2 is playable.
Revu 2. What
Well,
is it? It's
maybe
3 years old in Japanese now at this point. It's like
May-
we're just getting such old product, and it's just
May-
dead. It's
maybe they
literally
plan to
dead
bring
on
Revu 3
arrival.
though.
Dude, is Revu 3 going to be good enough when we get it 4
Oh,
years after it came out?
If it comes out this year, it's probably still playable.
It's not going to come
well,
out this year.
watch there be cards we need from that other set or like product or whatever they released of Review 2. Wasn't there like a recent like Review booster where it's all the real girls?
Oh, the portrait, yeah.
The Portrait Booster, yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember what's in that because I was like, Review's dead to me at this point. But it would suck if like that product, we need cards in that product to make the most meta deck or whatever. That would for English.
We don't,
Yeah.
at least.
Oh.
As you know now, until set 3 comes out, and you're like, oh no. Oh yeah, some of the chats bring up power-up sets. Are those out yet? Did they release them or?
They were at like a convention, but I don't think the official release is yet. Because otherwise, I think you would have billed me.
Oh shit, you're right.
Yeah, they were at the Bushiroad pop-up store, but don't
Yeah,
think they're officially
the
out.
power up sets are disgusting. They're like actually just disgusting that that's a product that they're releasing this year.
Yeah, go ahead.
As
People-
somebody who owns those sets and likes those properties,
People think it's going to be
It's
Agilane
gross.
coming to English. It's fifth phase. Sorry.
Fifth phase.
That's my fucking prediction is that it's fifth phase. It's like because it's just like sets from that time, like Relive. That like I don't know. That sounds like English Bushiroad to me.
I know one thing about the power up sets too is like I know some people have already like dealt with like people being like, oh, so what is this? Oh, so can I like buy this and play the deck? And people are like, no, there's not even enough cards to build it. And then like they're like, what the fuck? Why would I buy this then? And like, do you have the old cards available? And they're like, no. 'cause it's too
Yeah,
old.
yeah. If you
Like,
got $1 billion and you're the only buy, you're like there's like not even enough cards for like 3 people to buy this product.
Yeah.
It's like you either already own the product or you literally can't get the cards. It's not even a money issue. It's just like you can't.
yeah, I think like a majority of people who like actually have the cards and would like give it up, you know, like sell them or get rid of them. They were in the Weiss community so long ago, and they like stopped playing that they probably don't even realize like these sets are coming out because they don't follow
Yeah.
Weiss anymore. It's like how
Probably
long
because they
ago?
quit when they bought those sets, because a lot of those sets came out really late in English as well. So a lot of people, that bought Haruhi, they probably weren't very happy with the game. Because Haruhi came out in like, what was it, like 2015 or something? Again, like Meta 2 Love Root the same time Haruhi's dropping in English.
Yeah, somewhere around 2015, 2014, I think. Yeah, because it was a few years after
So
I started playing. Yeah. Oh
yeah, we got
man.
Haruhi really late for when in English compared to like Japanese.
Yeah, and that was back when if a card was on on the Japanese ban list, they took it out of the set in English.
And it's just gone. It's just
Yeah,
gone.
they
Who
just
cares?
deleted
You
the
don't get
card.
it.
You like put the sets together, and there's just a number missing when you're like putting your placement together, and you're like, huh, it goes from 89 to 91. What the fuck? But yeah.
Those good times.
And back then they're like, we don't want to print this card because we don't want to have a ban list in English ever. And nowadays we have a ban list. But
Or you get the nerfed cards. You get the like, yeah, we know this used to be a finisher, but what if it just healed? Like, okay.
oh yeah, also they like when they printed these cards too, they didn't even update the cards to have like the climax symbol or anything in it too. I was
No,
just like,
they're actually including the emo swing in the
oh, I saw that.
in the set. Yeah, they're just putting the band cards in the power up
power
set
up.
now.
Yeah. But it's interesting because I think before when Bushiroad printed, at least in Japanese, they printed reprint older sets. They updated it to have the climax like combo symbol and stuff included in the text. But I think the English ones they don't. At least the
I
ones that
don't
we
think Crayon Shinchan just had a reprint.
did they not update the thing? I've never
I
seen
don't think
reprints
so.
of. Okay.
Believe it or not, I didn't see Crayon Shinchan in Japan, so I'm not
No
sure.
way.
I saw
Did it-
a sealed box. Because I would have bought the deck. I thought
Yeah.
it had a reprint, but like nobody bought it. Actually, just most people didn't have Weiss, but that's part of the story.
Man, I think that's it for like sets and everything, right? All right, I'm gonna take
Yeah, I
that
think
silence.
that's about it.
All right, Dean, you want to hop into your
Oh
Japan trip
boy,
adventures?
yeah. So my lone story about Weiss, because this is I went to Japan to go see mountains, to hike, to to see the country, but I also brought Weiss. And about halfway through the trip, I started to wonder why. So on the good parts I managed to finish Vivid Strike during my trip. I now own 4 of everything at all rarities. I managed to almost finish Dog Days, but it's a little hard to find that last card. And I finished off all of the Disgaea promos. I managed to find all of those radio promos. They're like $50 a piece. So good there. I picked up Max Rarity Osamatsu for only $300. Had the Jushimatsus, had everything, the Azusas. I was excited about that. And then, but the actual game. So let's talk about the actual game. So first, Kit had unloaded upon us an unbelievable amount of Japanese product that could not move in America because it's like Mushoku Tensei. And what else? I don't know. You dropped so many sets on us, Kit.
And it was like an entire closet full. So
yeah. So me and Ellis were like discussing, and we're like, bro, we can't sell this. Nobody's gonna buy a stack of these Symphogear cards. Nobody's gonna buy these stock swaps. Nobody's gonna buy any of this shit. So I loaded my bag when I was going to Japan with 8,000 to 9,000 Weiss cards. It was probably worth like Yutei was probably like 5,000 almost. Like not even joking, like on the estimates. And when you get there, I start going around the stores, and because like first thing I do is like a lap through all the stores. There's like 20 stores in Aki almost. And I noticed there's a lot less stores carrying Weiss than before. There's still like the powerhouse stores like Card Kingdom. The Card Tower doesn't really carry Weiss anymore. But like Big Magic, the C Lab, and the Radio Kaikon, there's like a few stores that still carry, but it's like probably like 6 stores that you can like find down from like 12. I thought that was weird. So then I started asking, like, will you buy stuff from a foreigner? And only really Big Magic said yeah. So I go to Big Magic, unload all the cards. I get like 700 for this. I was like, I'm like, it's what happens. I'm not willing to carry this shit. And that was the first day. And when I was there, I'm looking at the tables. I'm looking at the tables in Aki. And I watch a lot of people playing a lot of different games. None of them are Weiss. Like I think I saw one group of people playing Weiss. It was 2 people with TDs, and they said they were new at the game and they just bought the TDs that day. So okay, whatever. Day goes by. Next day, it's the last day in Akihabara. I'm like, okay, I want to go play Weiss. I brought all these cards. Let's go. I throw the shit in the bag. I go hit up every card shop. Hit up 20 card shops. No Weiss players. Okay, well, when's the locals? I get on the Bushi Nav. Boom, locals at 7. Okay, I'm gonna go to there. 7 p.m. hits. I go to the Akihabara Weiss Schwarz locals on December 17th at Hobby Station, Japan. And there's 0 players. There's literally no players at the Hobby Station. Like, yeah, we're supposed to have Weiss. There's nobody in Akihabara. Okay, sure. Sure enough. Maybe, that was just bad luck. Spend a couple days, going through some areas. Eventually I get to Kyoto a little bit before Christmas. It's like the 23rd, I think. And I'm in Kyoto. And I'm like, I want to go play Weiss. I haven't played Weiss yet. I've been in Japan for I've been in Japan over a week. I get all my shit. I hit up the 5 card shops in Kyoto. I ask them, where's Weiss? Place tells me we have Weiss tonight, 6 p.m. Come back. Come back at 6 p.m. 0 players, like twice in a row, 0 players at a Weiss locals in Japan in major cities. And I'm like, what the actual fuck is going on? So then I spend time asking the people that are looking at the showcase. I'm like, bro, if you're looking at Weiss, maybe you play Weiss, because I fucking can't find Weiss players in Japan. And they tell me, sorry, collector only. Like they're like, no, we don't play. We only buy SPs. That's all we do. And I'm just baffled because I cannot find a player to save my life until I get to Osaka, which is, if people know, Osaka's like bigger than Aki when it comes to card games. And I managed to find a couple people playing there, but until I got to Osaka, which was like the 4th major city I was in, I could not find a player for this game. And I was noticing before, because I've been to Japan, this was my 4th trip. I would go to the middle of nowhere, and if they had a card shop, it was 50-50 on in small towns if I could find Weiss players. This time I found 12 Weiss players in my entire trip. This is a spoiler. I gave up after talking to multiple people and being told collector only. That if I wasn't seeing them play Weiss, I'm just not gonna go. Yeah, Osaka Denden Town. That was the only place that had players. That was the only place. And Nagoya, which I went to at the end of my trip. But outside of that, I didn't see Weiss players. Literally no one. When I would go out to the further out I went, it was even less stores had it. And when they did, it was usually either it was much lesser selection. I think that, well, initially I had this idea. I was like, do people just stop firing? What's going on? And then I'm not gonna give my source, but near the end of my trip, I did meet up with a friend that actually has a pretty big influence over the Weiss market in Japan. He has I guess he's a lot more powerful than I thought he was. And I start talking to him, and he's like, the stores don't carry Weiss anymore because of the rapid release schedule, invalidating sets way too fast. And the power creep has also led to less players. And that's not at the tournament level, right? The Weiss tournaments in Japan, they still get over 100 players. They still have a lot of turnout at the bigger events. But it's at the local level, at the shops, right? It's when I go into a shop, I can probably see One Piece. I can see, well, Shadowverse was actually extremely healthy as well. One Piece was healthy. Digimon was not being played. Pokemon was. And was it Battle Spirits? Is that their game? It's like really
Yeah,
big.
but I heard they rebooted Battle Spirits recently, so I don't know if it's the same one. It's like Battle Spirits Saga, or maybe that's only for English. But yeah, Battle Spirits is the other thing.
Battle Spirits was popping off a lot because I'm like, that's the game, that's the Bandai game. It's popping off, and but Weiss, there was no players, literally no players, and this wasn't me. Like I know that like I sometimes come here and I'm like, I'm down on Weiss. I'm down on Weiss. I spent like 4 hours before my trip getting all of my decks together in a box. Like getting really excited. I'm like, I'm gonna bring these decks. I'm gonna go to locals on my downtime, and then I'm spending hours upon hours digging through card stores looking for some old Weiss, but then also trying to just play. And I'm actually unable to play the game because there's no players in Japan outside of like, I mean, like if you go to a regional, sure, yeah, 150 players will show, but you literally can't find players. Yeah, because it's the rapid release schedule too, right? And it's like I'm watching this guy play against Overlord. I'm surprised he didn't quit that day. He looked really upset when he was playing against Overlord.
Ainz is a nightmare when that
Yeah.
deck's rolling.
Yeah, and it's just like it's this struggle, and I couldn't believe it. I actually just couldn't believe it. And I'm talking to this guy who has like a big pulse on the market, and he's like, people just don't buy the sets. It's like he says that the sets just die on your shelf in a week. He's like, a set will come out and a week later nobody will buy it ever again. And your cards will just sit. They'll just sit forever and they'll never move. And then actually he sold me. Oh, by the way, people who think that Pixar did well, Pixar did dog shit in Japan. Nobody carries the cards. Nobody has singles. Pixar was an actual failure in Japan. One of the big stores that opened Pixar got excited when they saw I had the deck, and the employee came over with over 300 Pixar rares and SRs and triple Rs, and he's like, our store cannot move this product. They're worthless. Nobody will buy it, and we can't even put it in the gacha machines because of the different card back. And he sold me like 350 Pixar rares for it was $100. It's 100 USD. He's like, we just can't get rid of them. So people who think that Pixar did well because boxes sell for $100 on eBay, let me tell you, that is not actually what happened in Japan. This set was fucking awful for the like actual stores. And bro, like hearing that set, like it's like it was like legitimately demoralizing. Like going to Japan and like trying to play this game. It was unbelievably demoralizing because like it was like it was my last day in Akihabara, and did you see that conversation, Carmen? Where I was like, okay, guys, I'm here. It's Friday night, Akihabara. I don't see people in the stores. What's going on? And they're like, if you come out to Ikebukuro, which people don't know, Ikebukuro, big area, it's 45 minutes by train from Aki. They're like, if you get on this train, you can come to an 8-man locals on a Friday night. And I'm like, bro, it's Friday night. It's a weekend. What do you mean? I'm not going to get on the train for 45 minutes to go to an 8-man locals. That's smaller than my indie locals. And when there's nobody in Aki playing this game, like I'm going around Aki tables, and there's people playing Pokemon, there's people playing Yu-Gi-Oh. Can't play Yu-Gi-Oh. I play Pokemon with some guy. I can't play Yu-Gi-Oh in Japanese. But yeah, that was like what I saw. That was like me getting a pulse. I'm not seeing the big events. I know that people show up for those still. But it's those other areas. It's those areas where the casuals, not even the casuals, it's Akihabara even. And yeah, not to be down, but that's like what I saw. That's like what I witnessed. Azure Lane sells and will probably sell for a time, but your average set is it's rotting on store shelves, and your SPs, like once the collectors move away, where's this game going to be?
Yeah, I hate to also be doomer pill or whatever, but I mean, that was already a trend you and I were seeing, right? I was more of like, nah, I don't believe it in the beginning, but
no, I didn't believe it either. Are you talking about like back before? Like
yeah, even back then, because like we would go to Japan and then we come back, and then we go back the next year and like, oh, there's even less Weiss than last time, and then leave, then come back and be like, oh, there's even less Weiss than last time. Now instead of having like 3 like shelves, or not shelves, 3 like display cases full of Weiss, it's down to like half a display case.
Yeah, and that's like
Yeah.
what was happening is like the amount of product on the shelves was less, and there was less stores, like way less stores. That's what's so crazy. Is like you couldn't fucking find Wise products in a lot of places, and there's just like no players. The no players thing was the weirdest thing because I've never had that happen in Japan. I've been in Sapporo, not even Sapporo. I've been like halfway through Hokkaido in a random shop and like playing people. Um, and the people I did play, by the way, this is the worst part too. The people I did play were bad. Like I did not play until I met up with my friend. I didn't play a good Weiss player. I was playing people that had like started the game that year or something. So it was like really strange. It was like really weird because I'm used to going to Japan. I hit up a shop, I find good players, and I play the game. Like I had literally almost never seen a bad Weiss player before this year in Japan. It was usually just like the people hanging out and playing. And I know that the Japanese market doesn't reflect the current English market, but it probably is a good predecessor for the future English market, to be honest. Um, Given like how like what the sets will do to the average player as time goes on.
Yeah, the English market's a little different too, since we're not bombarded with like fucking
We don't
a
get 3
set.
sets a month.
Yeah,
We
we're
don't
not.
get 3 fucking sets a month. That shit's disgusting.
It's I totally see how that has all that burnout.
But that's not what's more important about that. It's not that you just burn out on a player. It's a burnout on a store. Your store's not going to carry this game that releases
Yeah,
3 sets a month.
it's almost
You
like
don't have the capital.
yeah, it's almost like the same stuff we talked about before about how like in the West generally like because our game is so much smaller compared to how like Japan handles it. It's like really hard to get smaller stores or local level stores to like really carry product because they're experiencing the same thing where like once a set is not no longer meta or relevant or most people have their cards, you just have product that sits on the shelves and just dies. So you have like 5K worth of product that's just sitting there that the store needs to reinvest to like make the
Yeah.
money and stay open, but they're unable to move any of it, and so they have to
Yeah,
just like
but
take these huge losses for no reason, which sucks.
yes, and that's the thing is like it's just like so much stuff doesn't move and like and it comes out so fast too. And it's like that's why the guy said he's like the guy I knew was like he basically is like an advisor for like the bigger card shops. And he's like without an actual advisor, like stores just go bankrupt if they try to carry Weiss. They just can't. They just bleed money because it dies so fast and the prices fluctuate so fast. It's not even about payout. In Japan, you don't get payout. In Japan, you just don't get payout. They're like, and this isn't like the effort part of it, because like right, and it's people gravitate towards like what they like more than money, right? Like I could make more money playing Magic the Gathering, but I don't play Magic. I play Weiss because I enjoyed Weiss. Um, it's I see people playing literally every other game. It's just Weiss is not up there right now. Now on sales charts, it's probably still up there because god damn, when you release 3 sets a month, you probably have some pretty okay sales.
Yeah, and I mean, like, also, as like for a competitive player too, when like a really huge chunk of Weiss's skill, quote unquote skill, I guess, is like understanding what's out there, what's available to every set, and how and like what tools those sets have. So when you play against them, you can play, properly and around things if needed. Um, I'm sure, like on the competitive side too, like a lot of competitive players probably get burnt out on Weiss because they're like, great, there's 3 sets this month. Every month, I have to learn 3 sets that I'm not interested in ever, just in case if I ever play against them or they become like meta relevant,
Bro,
essentially.
and here's the Eins. And like the fact is like some of the cards are like unbelievably gross that they've been printing recently. Like the power creep is like another huge problem too. Like when you're on the competitive grind and they print a card like Eins, like what do you do?
Yeah,
Like you
absolutely.
go, cool, I gotta go buy that. It's I don't know. It's a lot of things. But nothing had me more down than carrying around this fucking like it was like a 10-pound metal box because it's waterproof. I want to have a waterproof box to protect my cards. Could fit about 8 decks in it, and I'm sitting there and I'm like looking for these old cards. I'm digging through the shops. The entire time I'm like, bro, I can't even find a player for this game. Why am I buying these cards? Didn't stop me from spending $1,000 on them. But But yeah, I'm just like, where are the players? Like, where how do I play this game? Which was strange, just so strange. And then
Yeah.
I never experienced that, and then being told, yeah, you go 45 minutes away to find 8 players. I don't know. It was weird. Now, Shadowverse. Now, as I think one of the first comments was one of our locals saying it's time for me to shit on Weiss. Spent $1,000 on Weiss. Didn't spend any money on Shadowverse, but you better believe every single city I was in had Shadowverse players, and that's not even a lie. Every single city that I walked into a card store had Shadowverse players playing the game.
Yeah,
I
that
walked
game.
into probably like 15 different cities' card stores.
I mean, that
So,
game's been popping off in Japan ever since release, right? Like they're having like
yeah.
3,000 plus not locals, but regionals. Or how big was the Jerusalem?
Regionals was like they capped out every regional until they moved it up to over 2,000 players, and then they had 1,800 players. So yeah, that's pretty good numbers for a game that hasn't been out a year.
Oh yeah, for sure. Which is really good. What is it? Really good sign for the future of that game's success. Hopefully, we see the same success in the West once it moves over.
Yeah.
Like, I can't imagine people not enjoying the game after playing it, like with you and everything, and
Yeah.
going over it. It's actually a very fun and interactive game, actually.
Yeah, the only weird thing is the Bushiroad, their first edition print run. Now, saying we only have 2 weeks to order, let's be honest, they're gonna print more product. This is not a one and done game like a lot of the other Bushiroad games. This is a game
Bushiroad handling printing? They're only handling tournaments, right? And distribution.
No, they're handling printing. They print the cards.
Oh my god! Who?
I think they physically print the cards. I think that Side Games tells them what to print on it.
Okay, yeah, because I know the card quality in the Japanese version is so good. I hope that transfers over into English as well, especially like those.
Bushiroad in general has good card quality. That's like the one thing that they do amazingly well until you get into the erratas, but the physical card itself is made out of good material.
Yeah, but I know like
I can't even say good card quality because they got an errata page 5 miles long for English, and it's been growing again. They're errating their English exclusive, which is fucking amazing. When they're like, "Sorry, we mistranslated our card."
The one thing though is tokens. If no one has ever dealt with tokens in Shadowverse, those cards are some thick cards, right? Like their card stock is super different. Like if you ever played
have you ever played with
Gigant rares? Yeah, if you played Gigant rares in Weiss, they're like the exact same like size and material, right?
Yeah, and they're good. They're good. Well, yeah, that game was popping off. Pokemon, of course, and Yu-Gi-Oh. Yu-Gi-Oh is probably the most played game. Like just non-ironically, but like I can't interact with a Yu-Gi-Oh player in a different language. I can't interact with a
and the format's different anyway, right?
The format's different, but like I can pick up a Shadowverse card and like with minimal Japanese figure out what it does. I can pick up a Pokemon card and figure out what it does. I can pick up a Weiss card and know what it does. You cannot play Yu-Gi-Oh. Yu-Gi-Oh is like the worst game in the planet.
Here's an essay on this card that you have to read to figure out what the card does.
Yeah, it's like it's literally not doable.
I remember a few years back I tried to play like we had this giant box of Japanese Yu-Gi-Oh cards, right? Of like really old sets. And we just started grabbing a bunch of cards, me and my Japanese friends, and we were like, let's just play this. And even like I'm not super fluent in Japanese, but I'm fluent enough where it's not usually never too big of an issue. But even reading some of those cards were a pain in the fucking ass. It's just like
I've been doing like the Duolingo stuff. I'm not like good, but I'm like a lot better at reading than I am like actually speaking.
Mm-hmm.
And even listening. It's just like reading's a little bit easier. I bought the Rush Duels game on the Switch because like I brought the Switch, but like I didn't want to play any of the games, so I'm like, why did I bring this? And so I bought Rush Duels in Japanese. I'm like, bro, this is gonna be sick. I got the new Rush Duel game. I started trying to play Yu-Gi-Oh in Japanese, even Rush Duels. And I'm like, bro, I can't. I don't know what anything does. It's so hard to read.
Oh man.
Oh yeah, I think I should mention Rush Duels. Rush Duels is dead. That game is like literally not played by anyone. Buy booster boxes for $6. It's really fun.
Didn't you buy a bunch, right?
I bought like probably like 5 or 6 booster boxes because they were like sub $10, and like, I like the card art. And then I bought every starter deck, so I'm tempted to like put like little translations in the starter decks, like little like inserts in the sleeves. Just have rush duel decks. I think it's a fun game. I like Yu-Gi-Oh. I like the idea of Yu-Gi-Oh, but I just don't like the game. So like maybe rush duels will fix it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like one of those things where it's like, like I liked Weiss in 2019 and 2020, but then we're in 2022, and it's kind of like that, right?
I guess, yeah, fair.
Where like Weiss was pretty cool before I was told, yeah, so I play this climax, I shove 5 cards under this guy, he's gonna pop your board next turn, but you're not allowed to interact with him until then. So no, nobody plays Weiss Blau either. Weiss like Blau is like dead on arrival. Nobody has singles because nobody owns Weiss. You see the starter decks everywhere.
Yeah, but how about Rebirth for you?
Rebirth for you, I literally don't think I saw it in any store. No, wait, I saw it in one store. I saw it one time in my entire trip. Nobody owns it. Like
Did you see anyone
stores
playing
don't
it?
even carry it. No, I saw 0 people play. I didn't see it in the stores. I saw it in one store. I did not see that game at all. I did see Build Divide. People who were like, man, Build Divide's going to be popping off. They got these big IPs. Saw Build Divide Demon Slayer booster box. You know how much they cost? How much do you think a Build Divide Demon Slayer booster box costs in the store?
No idea what.
600 yen.
Powerful.
What?
Dude, no, people don't play that game. That game is not played. That game is clearance aisle dog shit is what that game is. So Build Divide is dead. Vanguard, I don't know. Like Vanguard is like one of those things that like I don't really pay attention to. I probably did. But yeah, I noticed. I only really noticed a game if it like was something I'm aware of or it had like insane markdowns. Like older Rush Duel product is like 800 to 900 yen a box. It's like 800 to 1200 yen for a booster box of Rush Duels, with the normal MSRP being 3,000 yen. So about 30 or 66% markdown on old Rush Duel product. And Build Divide was even lower than that, so that's pretty impressive.
Jesus.
Oiska, I didn't see anyone playing that. Didn't that just come out? I think I saw that one time, a couple times. Yeah, an arcade in 20 minutes, bro. 5 minutes. Put like 300 yen in the machine and lose 3 times in like a minute. Like
my arcade experience is either I spend no money all day because there's no good fighting game players there, like the games I play, or the good people show up after work and I sit there and lose hundreds of dollars in one night just trying to win this 2 out of 3 against these fucking suit warriors coming from work, smoking in one hand and like fucking doing infinites with their other hand against me. I'm like, oh wow, this is good. This is a good experience.
Yeah.
Oh, one thing I want to ask is not card game related, I guess, is in Japan, like there's like almost no smoking anymore in buildings and shit, right? Like I don't know if you want to have arcades, but I heard
I don't go to arcades.
Okay, because I heard that they basically made it like you can't smoke in like any of those areas anymore. Ever since like the Olympics or whatever. So I was wondering if
I don't know.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, because I went to like one arcade like one day and that was it. Because like a lot of my time is just backpacking through the country. Like, right, like a lot of me is I want to go to a city. I want to go out to like the mountains, like climb up the nearest mountain, like look down at the city. And my goal was to lose weight because like I was kind of out of shape. Wanted to lose weight. I wanted to see good things, and arcades really just like aren't in the like schedule.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't even know what Castor Chronicles is.
What about in at least in restaurants and stuff? Maybe because you go out to more of the rural areas, it might be different. But do they still even have like smoking sections in those areas? Like, do they ever ask?
Did they ever? I've never experienced.
Oh, you never go to like family restaurants or something? They always have like smoking sections, and they will ask if do you want smoking or non-smoking. Maybe they just assume not because whatever. But yeah. I don't know. I don't know how much of that has changed because I remember reading that it did, but I
Yeah,
haven't been there
Club. I
since
know they have
COVID.
the other like the little smoking boxes that are
Mhm.
unbelievably funny, where they're like you can only smoke outside in this box, and there's like a fucking aura around it. You can smell from a mile away, and it's just like a fucking death cloud of smoke.
Boxes
Um,
are funny.
and do I think Weiss is just dying? And yeah, I legitimately do. It legitimately just looks like it's dying. It looks like a thing where you got your competitive players going to these big locals that have like everyone good, but like your average Joe just doesn't play the game. Like that's how I feel.
Yeah,
It's not the level of whatever Caster Chronicles is that I don't know what it is, and Build Divide, which has $6 booster boxes. It's not that bad, but it is like a thing where it's like,
the signs are there where like if this trend continues, it could become like a dead game in a few
yeah,
years.
it's this thing where like you have like your powerhouse stores that are moving a billion, right. They have like every set. They fucking they are the stores for the game. And then like every other store has like kind of like dipped out. A lot of the other stores have dipped out.
I
Like if they're not a
wonder.
powerhouse store, they're dipping out.
I wonder, like Kulua said in chat, like Hololive like makes a couple million and Weiss is quote unquote successful still. How much do you think like what do you guys think of like are some of these IPs like literally like propping Weiss up because there's like people who don't play the game but collect it because it's Hololive or some other shit like that? Because I guess you're running into collectors in Japan also, right?
You know, I only ran into collectors, like, cause like that was like the only thing. Like, I kept asking, like, "Do you play?" Because I wanted to play. I'm. It's not like I'm out here like looking for like a bad story, right? I'm like legitimately just like, bro, I want to play. I like my feet hurt. I've been walking all day. I want to like show up at the card shop and play today. And I'm like, please, like, do you play? No, collector only. Okay, just somebody, please. So yeah, I do think it is like a couple key sets a year are like really propping up the game. It's like Azure Lane, right? That's a big one. It was taking up entire cases. There were stores that didn't have other sets. I was at stores that had literally like a half a like you know how the big cases.
Yeah.
It was like a half a case was their normal stuff, and they had 2 cases of Azure. So Azure Lane was more than 80% of their stock of Weiss. Um, Hololive would have like similar showings at other places, but Azure Lane had just dropped, so it really is that thing where yeah, it's like these big IPs come down, but your average IP is just it's not fucking moving.
Yeah, and like Ryu say in chat saying, so is Weiss being niche still? Like the big thing is Japan, like at least from my
It
experience
wasn't.
prior, it wasn't. You could go into any store, they would have Weiss product. They would have people there playing Weiss, even if it was only a few
Yeah,
people. Like people would have decks and they would want to play.
yeah.
So
And
like
that's the thing that was like so baffling to me, and it's never been a thing where you have to go to the one big locals. Like if you're not the big locals, there's literally not players. I've never experienced that before. It's always been a thing. You just show up to a shop. I mean, you might have to go to a couple shops, but like it's like 20 shops in Akihabara. You're probably going to find a Weiss player. And it was just weird. It was very strange, like seeing not that. For the first time ever.
all right, as much as I love being Doomer Pill, I guess we can move on from being
Yeah. Not being Doomer Pill, but like um, it was cool though. You know, definitely. I do like some of the stuff I picked up. You know, I
yeah.
picked up Daybreak Illusion SPs.
Why?
I don't, you know, at a certain point, you're just like kind of asking people for old stuff, and like you keep being told no on the dog days, and then you go, bro, this is like $0. Just hand me that SP. How is Azure Lane as a set? I don't. I played a guy who I'm going to assume is not very good with it. It has like a double JC at one. That was kind of cool.
Like
I wasn't
Hansen.
impressed.
Yeah,
Carmen's played it.
you guys played it,
It's
right?
fine. Yeah, it's like totally fine. It's not anything. It's not anything incredible.
I'll be right back.
What build do you think is like the go-to build right now? Because I've
There
seen a
are
couple of
several like playable builds, yeah.
The A8, it's 8 bar. Don't play.
bar and
I
don't play
think-
anything else. You think?
Yeah, every other deck is a pile of shit. The resonate stuff was underwhelming. You could maybe mix the resonate stuff with 8-bar,
Mm-hmm.
and it'd be fine. But I think I legitimately think like everything outside of the green stuff is like literally just like complete garbage.
I
So
played
it's-
against 8 choice and it seemed like fine.
I mean, 8 choice just does a kind of like do nothing deck though. What does it do better than any other deck?
You play an event and go +4.
Yeah, I mean, that's like every other Weiss Schwarz deck when they hit a brainstorm.
Every
Like
other.
I don't know, it's just not very impressive. The deck definitely runs, and you can build a lot of decks in it. So if you can pick up a playset for cheap, it's definitely value in terms of like a player. But I mean, like competitively, there's
Yeah,
not much of a reason to be playing this set.
there's like different decks you can play at like local levels for sure.
All right.
I have returned. I missed the Azure Link discussion.
Don't worry, you didn't
You
miss much.
Didn't miss much, yeah.
Hmm.
All right. Do we have any other Weiss topics to talk about? Otherwise, we can get into the other things that are going to change in this channel soon.
Ooh. Well, so it's probably changing for the better if you like Weiss, right?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think that was like it. That was like my trip. That was
Yeah.
Hanson. That was,
Teams
Karma
coming
stuff.
up, right? Which is
Oh yeah,
exciting.
bro. We're gonna
Love
come
teams.
back. I think I'm allowed in. If I'm allowed in, I think it's time. I
Prodigal
will
Son has returned.
leave a trail of destruction with. I'm gonna bring the spice. That's gonna be my theme for this year. Is gonna be bringing the spice. I wanna hit you people with some spicy dishes. And then
Listen, I'm doing the same thing. Once that second set comes out, I'm going to be bringing the spice also to every event.
and then I'm gonna dip out for singles. I'm not gonna play in singles this year,
I'll
or
play in singles.
maybe
I'll probably
ever.
like 3 events, maybe. Well, I guess it depends on the
I'm
meta.
sorry. I will be on the grind because, as we know, June 30th, Shadowverse drops in English, and that means that just in time for fall.
Oh
That's where-
shit! I will be on.
that's
that
where my
super
energy's
hardcore
gonna
grind
go,
too.
so.
We should like record some of the games online using the. Isn't there a web application to play online or something? How did people use Untap?
They were
to
using
play, right?
Untap, so it's pretty shit. But
That is
yeah.
pretty shit, but
Yeah.
I
So
don't know.
it's
Yeah.
Unbelievably bad.
so yeah, that's like where I'm gonna be for singles. For teams, I enjoy going with the homies. That gotta be with the homies. We gotta go win. Who's gonna win EN Worlds? I'm sorry, it's gotta be. I gotta root for the guy from my locals, Tyler. He's gonna win. Fuck everyone else.
Tyler,
Also-
it would be great if Tyler wins, but it's gonna be Riaz playing it. We all know.
Dude, he does have
Oh
a power
shit!
up now.
Riaz did
He's
get
gonna come with Wind Split 2 Soul. He Split 2K. He's literally just gonna come with the same deck. He's not even
the
gonna
same
update
deck. Dude, I would fucking die if that happened. Oh my god! And Riaz wins World with the same exact list as he had from 2019 or whatever. Oh my fucking god! Oh
Yeah.
my god! Yeah, let's see. The people I'm rooting for, Riaz, always a favorite of mine. Clinton went Chicago, right? So
Yeah, Clinton is
Clint-
powerful. Clinton is powerful.
yeah, I'd probably root for Clinton and Tyler. Those are like my 3 major people I think are good. That made
Yeah.
made who else made got invites this year that we know of? That are like powerhouses, I would say.
There's like people from Europe. They topped the 20 man.
Oh, good. I don't think about Europe ever. So like, Stock Swap Games got
Stock
an
Swap.
invite. Hate to
Ooh.
say it to you though, but
Yeah,
Riaz is
agree.
gonna win. I'm sorry. Enjoy your like.
Riaz is,
I'm keeping it simple. The locals I go to, homie gets in. We got to root for him.
Absolutely. Tyler is my underdog of the season for sure.
I hope Tyler wins. That'd be
yeah.
so sick.
Yeah, the way Tyler plays and the way Tyler evaluates game states and shit, I won't be
Whoever
surprised.
wins. I think it's gonna be. I mean, like I don't know. People who don't know what Worlds is like. as I was there. Not that I didn't play, but it has the feel of like a really crazy like stacked locals because it's small, and like everybody you play is good. So you know you're gonna have to make the right plays, and you're gonna have to run hot that day. Just
So
kind of
honestly,
like how it is.
honestly, the biggest thing is the running hot. the running
Yeah.
hot, like once like the thing is with like skill based things like that, it's like at a certain point, when the skill ceiling gets like close enough, it's like it just starts to be like, man, I hope the cards are in my favor.
You can literally name anybody that's going, tell me they won afterwards, and I wouldn't.
Yeah, you wouldn't bat an eye. You'd be like, yeah, okay, makes sense.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's going to be pretty exciting. We're going to, boost your. I think they're going to stream every round, is what my understanding was. So definitely, we're going to be watching.
Were they going to
Probably
stream
not doing a
every round
reaction,
this year? No way. Really?
Were they? I thought they were.
I thought they're going to do the normal
My
shit what they
line-
do, where they just stream
Only
only
top four?
fucking Vanguard the entire day, and they're like, "Oh, we're on the finals of Weiss. We'll
No.
cut to that game."
Well, I thought they got commentators for each game.
Remember when I worked as a commentator? I only commentated one game,
Oh.
and they paid me for that.
Oh.
So like, yeah, I don't know. That's why I'm like, I don't know. Unless they have multiple streams running, I don't think Weiss is gonna get in a lot of airtime.
Well, then that's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I think it'll be interesting to see what happens. Definitely gonna be Fallen Worlds. Definitely excited for teams.
Teams is the big thing I'm looking forward to. I think teams
Yeah.
is the most fun format in Weiss at this point.
Yes. Yeah, teams is. I mean, with where I'm at with Weiss, I wish everything was teams. I wish that the game forced you to play teams because as finishers, as everything gets so efficient and the game loses skill expression over time. Not so much with where it is now, but where it will be like soon. In terms of the kind of stuff that will be coming over from Japanese, it would be very nice to have a best of 3 or a pseudo best of 3 around because there's some unfun stuff in the pipeline if the current Japanese if the way Japanese is printing cards is anything to go off of, the game is going to become a little bit more coin flippy in terms of like your
Both
actions
matchups.
mattering up until the final turn. They will start to matter less.
But not only that, but it's also to do with like the matchups. Like there's like decks like, bro, like imagine that you're like, I'm sorry, I can't put up big walls at level 1 and threaten a level 1 anti-change counter to stop the Ions. Like, right? It's like,
Yeah.
It's like there's like certain things that are like really gross, like matchup wise.
Yeah. Like you don't
And
anti-change the eyes on the first turn, but if you're in a certain set, you literally lose the game on the spot.
yeah, and it's like kind of
Yeah.
like unbelievable, like some of the things that like those sets can do. Teams, I don't know. Teams to me isn't even about the game; it's about being with the homies and also bringing the spice.
I think it would be a good look for the game in general because it would create fake diversity as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it does. It's fun.
Yeah, I think it would be a good thing for the game in general, where the game forces you to play as a team, which for at least for these in-person events, I think Bro can be kept singles. Just to give those people an opportunity to play. If you don't have a scene, you don't have an LGS, stuff like that. But I would like to see in-person events for both like everything. I would love to see it being play as a.
It's always
as
50-50.
a
I think
default
50-50 is fine.
format.
I think 50-50 is fine. I mean, like the difference between worlds and like a teams is like so much different, right?
Yeah, I hate seeing teams get shafted because I feel like I don't know. I feel
Personally,
like
go ahead. Sorry.
but no, I mean like that's basically where my thought ends. I think with the way the game's going, there's a little bit more fairness on all sides. If there's a best of 3 in there.
Yeah, and then personally, I like teams because like Dean said, you get to hang out with the homies, and like the whole point of teams is you're with the homies, right? Next thing is it builds that fake diversity, like you said. I think teams also provides more of an opportunity to have like that that storyline stuff going on where people can follow specific teams, because there's a lot of people who always team up with the same people every fucking year. Like our group always teams up with some people. We have like Strictly Broken team and so forth like that. So you can follow those. I think following those stories and watching those people like play in top 8 could like build fun stories for people to follow and things like that. Because that's one thing Weiss compared to other TCGs, it seems like, or any other competitive game, is that there's no real any storyline ever going on. Like, oh my, other than like, is Riaz gonna win, be the triple
Did
world?
Clinton show up to the regional? Oh no, he did.
Oh man. But yeah, I don't know. I think Teams is just a better format for Weiss at this point, with everything going on. And then one thing, this response to Goa in chat, he's saying it's 2023 in a different venue and a different country. Surely the technology is there for them to run multiple streams. I'm gonna tell you, when I was a commentator for Bushiroad, and this happens at every every Worlds I've been to too, because I've seen like the back area, and I've been in the back. They literally have an entire team of like people running a shit ton, like an actual like professional team running the stream, where like they have like 10 monitors in the back for everything they want to look at every time, and like they have cameramen and everything. So like they've had the technology, they've had the people to like do all this, they just choose not to. So that's like on mostly on them.
I wonder if they're gonna like change that with Shadowverse. Have you ever seen a Shadowverse in-person stream?
Yes, I watched it on YouTube a couple times, some of the regionals.
The ones where, have you seen the fucking camera changes?
Yeah,
That
like,
they do to the hand.
yeah,
Where they'll pan from like they'll pan from like the top to like looking at the player's hand, and it's like insane. I'm wondering if like some of that quality will be thrown on the English side, or if that's going to be like a separate team, or like what's going to go on.
Who was currently running the Shadowverse events in Japan right now? Was it Cygames still? Because if it's Cygames,
no, it was Bushiroad.
It was still Bushiroad even to begin with.
I think so. Yeah, because like Bushiroad, I thought handles everything. I thought like Cygames is just there to make the cards.
And
yeah,
saying
like
there
you should have a stream for every game. Like why?
Yeah.
Why would you ever only stream? I mean, like I know sales wise, like that would probably make sense, and player wise, but if you're gonna have a Worlds, like bro, show the Worlds, like, dude, people for every game that you have, I mean, except for maybe Dragoborn back when that was a game, but every single game you have is like something that somebody cares about, right? Like you don't show up to Worlds unless you're like actually passionate about the game. So like, just give those people a moment on the camera.
Yeah, and in a way, it's free advertisement too. Like if people come across the screen and like, streaming like, oh, what's this? There's like a lot of people getting hype, and you're into card games. You know, maybe you'll check it out, and then we'll get a new player that way. Yeah.
Too bad nobody pops off their Worlds.
I wonder what Shadow. I want Broderick to be on camera at Worlds. Big dick damage. Let's go. All right, but I wonder what Shadowverse is gonna be like. Do you think the Shadowverse, when the English release happens, is just gonna be part of Bushiroad's like normal circuit, or is it gonna have a system circuit?
I don't know. Like I've literally I don't know. Like everyone in the stream and in this thing has been to Shadowverse. Has been to like Bushiroad stuff. I don't know how many people have staffed for Bushiroad. I have staffed a lot for Bushiroad. And I hope to in the future as well if they will let me. But man, there is like, I don't know if Cygames would be okay with the current level of organization at some of the regionals.
I've worked with a lot of different groups that run huge events, and I can tell you for a fact, Bushiroad has been the worst. And they're technically supposed to be the most professional out of all the groups I've worked with to run huge events. They've always been the worst. Like,
well, I don't know anymore because I know that there were some staffing changes since I last staffed back in 2019. But yeah, like it is like you said, it's like almost, it's like kind of funny, like because me and my friends, we would staff, we get to the venue a day early, and we're like, yeah, well, you guys need help, we're in the fucking scene, we're willing to staff, we're willing to judge, we're willing to do whatever you guys want, and we were always just like kind of laughing at times afterwards. We're like it's not a bad experience, but like I feel like there could have been like a little more organization, right?
It's like I'm like the grassroots events I've worked with. felt more like professional events, and then when I go to Bushiroad events, it feels like they are the grassroots people who have no money and no one working for them or anything, and they're like, and then that's the feeling I get, at least every time I've worked with Bushiroad.
Never
Hey,
forget.
I'll give you one worse. I have personally run grassroots events that have ran at a better capacity.
I mean, so
that I've attended, including Worlds.
I mean, but you know about the regional with Olive Burke in 2019, right? In Atlanta, because I was a judge there.
Dude, that story.
I was a judge. I was a judge there, and it's I hate to like say some of this stuff, but this is like an honest truth. Always call a head judge at a Weiss event if like you think something's wrong, because I'm gonna be honest, not a lot of the judges on the floor are Weiss players. That's just kind of how it is because they run, Vanguard plus Weiss. They get staff from both games, and if there's more Vanguard players than Weiss players, there's probably more Vanguard judges than Weiss judges. And I just remember I'm like put on break at the first round of top 8 or second round because it's top 4, right?
Yeah,
and because it was top 4 because they ran the first round of top 8. And then they ran the match of top 4 during my break, and I come back, and Oliver's like, "Bro, I lost because he hit that win trigger and bounced my round." I'm like, "Bro, you got a judge sitting at your table, and they let them bounce your hexproof card. Like, what's going on?" And so then they're like, "Oh no, I guess you're right. Damn, I got." But then don't worry, Oliver got a second chance because they're like, "Sorry, we mispaired top 4, so we have to rerun that round."
Oh, I forgot about that part.
I'm like, bro, that's not real. This ain't real, bro. But that's the quality you get like only at a Bushiroad event. You're like, this ain't real, right? Like, sorry, we put you against the wrong people in top 4 and watch those games.
Yeah, dude, that. Oh my god.
It's like stuff is unreal. And I just don't think that side games would put up with that. I just legitimately just don't know it. Like, I don't know what's gonna happen. I think it'll be interesting to see.
I think it'll be very interesting to see how it plays out.
I also wonder if it's better because I haven't been to an event in 3 years, and I don't know what you guys saw this year. But I know they've had staffing changes, so
yeah,
maybe it's better.
I mean, there have been some changes, but it's still the same. Also, if that makes sense. I think they've definitely been getting better. Like I can only assume too, like every time they do it, they have to get better, right? Unless like literally
There's no way you forget the top 4 thing, right?
Yeah, that top 4 thing was insane. I totally forgot about that because I thought you were going to talk about how Oliver got screwed over twice in top 4 and then
no, because he did get screwed over twice because the second time I'm judging Clinton. I judged the second round of top 4 where I watched Clinton make some hard ass reads and plays, and then his opponent walk into them. And then I move over because Clint finishes his game. I move over to Oliver's game, and Oliver's assigning Nexol to a hexproof board. And I'm like, bro, what's going on? I'm like, your opponent has the hexproof assist in the back. And he's like, oh, well, it's already attacks. And I'm like, you can't. I guess I'm the only judge here that actually plays this game. So, yeah, that was the funny day.
I do think to give the credit to the people that help at the English events. I see a lot of the same faces now for some of their staffing. Or like,
well, I think it's always been like the same, but it's never. The problem with Weiss is just like it's a lot of Vanguard players like at a lot of the regionals, right? Like you usually have like one maybe 2 actual Weiss players on the floor. Which I don't think is really too much of a problem, but it gets to be like at least those weird situations in the top cut.
Yeah, for sure. But I think a lot of those, I think recently, like they've had a lot of the same judges over and over again, especially since Simu is like head judge at most places. And
Simu is a godsend for the game.
We're
like,
lucky.
One person has all the judging back.
Yeah, like we're very lucky that he spends time and cares about the game enough to like be a head judge at all these events. Because I see him at almost every event now. I think maybe there's a couple he doesn't make out to. Like maybe like far on the East Coast or something, but luckily him being there is like. Go ahead.
from what I heard, Busho literally flies them out because they don't have better judges.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus. But yeah, it's really
Don't worry.
good
I'll
that
step up for her.
those same people keep showing up and caring enough to be like a part of the community to do that. It's like
Yeah.
it's definitely helped Bushiroad and like the community out a lot because
Yeah.
there's those times too where I asked for head judge and the guy was like, "Well, the head judge is busy and you can't call for him." And I was like,
That's insane.
"Yeah, that shit was like crazy."
Because like I've staffed Vanguard, and like the number one thing, because I definitely like, I was like, okay, I'm staffing Vanguard. I don't play Vanguard, so I like read the entire rule book multiple times the day before, probably better more than some people do. And then it's, bro, if you don't play Weiss and you are a Weiss judge, which will be a situation that will probably come up. I don't know if people listening to the stream, right, play Weiss if you listen to Burn One. Just say, please, I have a ruling in mind, but let me get a verification. That's like all you have to do. It's like a really easy way to like deflect and go get somebody who actually knows. Because yeah, like your average person, you could probably resolve something like my opponent drew the wrong card, but like get an actual judge if you don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
But it is nice to sound like they're moving Simu out and he's out there. He actually plays the game, He's at Worlds because he played the Pochin deck. He actually fixed the Revengers list to be a little bit less shit. Or not as dice rolly.
Oh yeah. If I was able to make it out to California, I actually had my list I had was also took Revengers Duel Laners with Pachan. I
think that's the way. You get the board breaking. It's the other deck folds to like an early play heal and you stop clocking at 0. It's like it's really funny that's what it happens.
Yeah, it seemed like the most stable list that really I don't know. I don't think our lists are very similar because I have to check it. I never even looked at this list, but like it has way more deck control, your own deck control, and everything, and speed. So you can set up like being very compressed if you want to be in that state, or if you want to like contest board and make it, and you like know your opponent can't handle like double supported Pachan or whatever. But
then also it like stops the things that I did where like I had to have a deck with defensive like lanes at 2 behind like a memory shoot counter because like that single-handedly can like kill their top end, right?
Yeah.
And it's like when you come in with the Pachins, they open up the slots, right?
Yeah, it definitely helps with like dealing with those scenarios where you're gonna have to worry about like the anti-change or not anti-change counter, but like sack counters or something like that or whatever.
Memory shoot counter.
Memory shoot. There we go.
Like anything.
Yeah, it makes
any defensive counter.
Yeah, you can like not care about your opponent a lot more even in those scenarios too. And like the kill rate with the deck is just very, very good if you're able to.
You still get the same range, but now you have this mid game. It's a lot harder for your opponent to play around the actual weaknesses because you're kind of patching them up with the board. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do think that's a really solid list, and he took it and he got, what was it, second? He lost to Tom, who was on Quince. Quince is just a really gross set, but
yeah,
it's pretty impressive finish.
Don't worry, they banned Quince, so the set must be bad now, right?
Bro, insane. I do think it's a lot less egregious because like when my problem with Quince was always that defensive counter. Like I know that some people say it's not worth, but like whenever I would feel the game slipping, that counter was always the thing that like was the final nail in the coffin where I couldn't even sack anymore. I think that defensive counter does a lot of work for the actual deck. I know some people say, "Oh, you don't need it," but I disagree.
Yeah, I think it's not really needed. It's just those scenarios, kind of like you're describing, where like you're like, oh shit, I'm kind of low rolling here. Luckily, this neg 2 soul counter is here to like fix that.
Neg 3 soul,
or neg 3 soul counter exists here to fix that scenario where I'm low rolling, but now I fixed it. So
well, not only that, but like it's also like it can like horribly cripple. Like there's like sometimes you're like, have you ever like fought those like 8 standby decks where like you're like the 1k1 deck and like you hit that point where you just can't deal with the board anymore. You're like, bro, I just got to start crashing and praying. And then like suddenly you get hit with a -3 soul and your damage, like you deal 0 damage in a turn. And like suddenly you're just crippled. Like you're like, it's like you're so far behind because of that one defensive counter. Mm-hmm. And like you're still just crashing your board. And that's like, that was what my problem was when I would because I know I wasn't like in the actual regionals, but I did do the bro and I definitely did some testing with some like 8 standby Quince and some of those. and I'm just like, I don't know what I'm supposed to bring other than this deck. Like when I was playing, I'm like, I own 8 Standby Quints, and I'm like, I just don't know what set I don't have anything else that I think is on this power level, and it's very difficult to fight this with as gross as like this is, and then the 2/2 kills everything, so you can't even play like a defensive deck into it. So yeah, I do think that the counter makes it a lot more manageable, because now those turns in the mid game where you're just like, bro, I gotta turn the cards upside down. I just gotta get through this one turn, maybe 2 turns, stick a little bit of damage, and actually finish the game. You can actually get that damage in.
Yeah.
So I actually do think that's a pretty meaningful hit. I know that some people don't, but
All right. Anything else worth talking about Weiss here? Then we can just talk about the channel changes coming up and then kind of end it from there. All right, I'll take that as we're good on Weiss. All right. So I talked to Dean about this. I guess technically, wait, did we even talk this in the group chat, Dean? It was just DMs between us.
I think it was just DMs.
Yeah. So basically, what we're gonna do moving forward, because we're kind of like we're splintering off too much with other stuff. Like I'm like doing like random Marvel Snap stuff. Dean's doing like his digital Shadowverse, and Shadowverse is coming out, and Dean and I are both going to be very heavily invested in it, as long as the game is supported in English.
Yeah.
So what's gonna be coming up soon? It's gonna be made tonight, and then we'll all send out notices for it, so people who care can go ahead and join, not join, but like subscribe to those channels. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna keep the Burn One channel as like our main Weiss focused channel, and maybe like occasionally we'll upload something like not Weiss related, but to part of a game that we're also still like our group is a part of, basically. But we're gonna have a separate channel just for Shadowverse Evolve that's gonna be Burn One branded for Dean and I to work on together, so we can start pushing out content for that and hopefully help build the Shadowverse Evolve English community up more. And then I should shortly after be making a separate Snap channel for Marvel Snap for the people who like Marvel Snap stuff, because randomly that content does okay, even though I like don't make any of it right now, and like the shorts are like insane on viewership. So I'm gonna do that. That way we don't have bombard people who only care about Weiss or one card game aren't bombarded with like random stuff where like Dean's like, here's like 20 videos of his Shadowverse
Oh my
digital
god, bro!
event.
If only I had actually looked at my volume mixer before playing the game. That was the worst videos I've ever uploaded. I'm sorry to everyone.
Yeah, but so occasionally we'll upload like a video or two, like every now and then, to be like, hey, we still do this on this other channel if you guys are interested. Also, and like to help like cross pollinate, and we'll probably do somewhat of the same with the other channels.
Yeah,
But that's what, at least that's our plans moving for the future.
I plan to do digital on this channel, the Serio 10-in,
Yeah,
my
on
own
his
personal channel, because I like the digital game, and like I want to get more involved in the tournaments. So maybe finding people, and on top of that, won't that be like an actual thing too? We'll probably need to find people for some of the other games too, right? Like the digital. Like I don't know if you need like somebody from Marvel Snap or.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I've been talking to Tyler. Tyler and I talk a shit ton about Marvel Snap, and we talked about doing content together. So we might, Tyler might be joining me for Marvel Snap stuff.
Ooh.
So
I know Ellis is my go-to for Evolved. Like he's also my go-to for Me Monday. So he's kind of like my all-around for the actual card games.
Yes.
I need somebody for digital. I need somebody out there to play Shadowverse competitively, bro. I need people to test with and to get ready for tournaments.
Listen, I would play digital again if it wasn't for the fact that every time I have to join digital, I have to like reinvest to like get a deck and collection together again, and I hate it. But I've had some other people on Twitter actually being like, "Hey, Kate, go back to playing Shadowverse," or like, "You should be playing it right now." But also, I heard Portal is pretty busted right now, right?
Is it? No.
Oh,
it
no,
was
it Portal?
It was Rune. Rune had a week 1 emergency nerf. I was in Japan, so I wasn't playing the game. I was just like logging in for the dailies a little bit. But yeah, there was like a turn 5 OTK in rotation where you would drop infinite cards for 0 mana, basically. It was like the equivalent of D-Shift, but it was a card with like Storm that would hit for 20. It was
beautiful.
Did you see the memes of it on Twitter where it was like the Uno game?
No, but you should.
You didn't see,
No,
bro.
you should send that to me sometime. And we had someone in chat, Rillick, I think is how you pronounce the name. He's like, what is the Eins card you guys are talking about?
Oh yeah, so
Where
it's
that look
there's a 1/1 Eins it's a 1/1, bro. I don't understand how this is a fucking 1/1. It's a level assist, which is already a 1/1, that says your 1/1 event that says salvage a card from grave is free, and it's a 1/0 event, and you can play 5 copies of this event, by the way. And so that's a 1/0 if you have this card on board. And it has climax combo. When you play the climax, you give an Eins 3/2 that comes out early. I don't know how it comes out early. It just fucking comes out early. Maybe Carmen knows how this thing comes out early.
It's their clock plus. They're
Okay.
like they play like a level 0 that you like pay 1 sec.
Okay. So yeah, I guess that's how you get this thing. And then you give this Eins that it gets 4,500 power for the turn, putting it like it's like 15 or 16k, and it gets the following effect on your opponent's turn. It becomes hexproof, so it can't be hit with like bounce, wind trigger, any of that, and it can't be reversed, and your opponent can't be reversed against it. And then the level 3 Eins on climax placement heals. And then also you get like you can either burn 1, shove every 1/1 in your grave under it as a marker, or remove all the markers. And if you remove all the markers, you send them to the memory and pop as many cards as you sent to memory on your opponent's board. So the idea is that like you play down the climax, you shove 5 cards under this Eins that is uninteractable on your opponent's turn. And then the next turn you play down a climax, send all 5 of these events to memory, blow up your opponent's entire board. Now, the problem, here's what I think the real problem is. These events have recollection at the beginning of your encore step. Pay 1, ditch 1, burn 1. And that's like this for the rest of the game. If at any point the Overlord player needs to pay out stock, discard cards in hand, deal damage, they have access to 5 burns a turn as long as they have the stock in hand for it. And so it's just like this really demoralizing thing where you can't interact with this card. It blows up literally your entire board. And then now they have a finisher for the rest of the game. Like they have 5 burn ones. It's like Kaguya tier. They have triple Kaguya.
You only have to eat 1 chunk of unfortunate damage for the deck to kill you. And unlike Kanata, which struggle to recur heals without an abundance of hand, the card just like goes off every turn. That they have a bar, so they can like reasonably heal twice every single turn after doing this stuff. It gets pretty gross pretty fast.
Yeah, it's like I was watching a guy get his like board blown up, and he's like he just seemed upset because he didn't know what to do, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know what to do either.
This is the
like just watching it happen.
This is the bar door list, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's really gross, but it's like there's like so much text on this card. You're like, there's a custom card they printed. Well, yeah, that's the Eins.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I mean, we're gonna get in English, right? That's the problem.
Don't worry, we will get in English. It's gonna be announced pretty soon. Yeah. I think that's it for any of our updates. And you guys have anything else you guys want to talk about? Anything at all? Anime, whatever.
Anime. Oh, yo, this season it took me 5 seconds to realize that the new Nagatoro is by a different studio. I was so sad.
I really don't think this season is very good.
I'm watching Onimai, which has an aura that I'm like, I don't know how I feel about. And then I'm watching the Magical Lesbian show.
Magical Lesbian show? What is that?
I don't know. She's like, I can't use magic, and then she
uses magic, or
no, this other girl can use magic, and then they sleep together.
Nice.
I don't remember what it's called. Annie chart.
I don't even know what you're even talking about. What
Bro,
is this?
I don't know how to describe it. Oh, I think this is Bofurry season 2. If people like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's more of the same so far.
Tensai Ojo to Tensai. I don't know what the English name is. The Magical Revolution of the Reincarnated
Oh,
Princess.
that show. Okay, yeah, never mind. You're right. Okay.
Yeah, it's
That
the
show is really
lesbian
good. That show's actually
Oh,
really good.
I also have to be watching Ningen Fushin.
Oh no.
Yeah, I gotta watch it because of the artist, not because of the source material. It's pretty shit. Oh, I guess we can technically say that Isekai Oji-san is this season because episode
yeah.
13 is still delayed.
Still delayed.
I finally got caught up on that. Did you wait? Are you caught up on Isekai Oji-san?
I'm
I
not.
am.
Did you see the episode with the dinosaurs?
Yes.
they don't explain anything. It just happens, and then you go to the next episode.
And you're like, what the fuck? That show is a treasure. That show is truly a
That show is fantastic.
I love that show.
Isekai Oji-san's worth your time. Also, I can't believe that Kit isn't caught up on Pop Team Epic. That's a pretty good one.
Yeah. Well, I saw season 2 was coming out, and I was just waiting until it was all finished, and I'm probably gonna download it. I'm gonna stream it. Sorry.
As somebody who
later.
didn't like season 1, I can recommend season 2. It's really good.
You only watched it with the male voice actors, though, right?
Yeah. Well, I think they're funnier. I'm just gonna be honest.
fine.
I just think that they were like they had better delivery. And I'm not gonna watch the same episode twice.
Yeah. Well, sometimes the episodes aren't exactly the same. But yeah. I don't blame you for only watching one side of it. I actually recently started reading a shit ton of manga again, and let me tell you, I was like, I liked Jujutsu Kaisen. It was a pretty fun anime to watch. Let me see what the manga's like. I read the manga. I read like what's supposedly the best arc in Jujutsu Kaisen, and I don't know what it is. I think that author or whatever is dog shit at writing. I actually do not like the manga at all. And at this point, I'm just like invested enough to like try to catch up or try to finish it this next arc. And then from there, I'm probably just gonna be like, I don't know. Like I thought, I don't know. Jujutsu Kaisen kind of sucks. Like it's a pretty mid like manga, which is pretty sad.
I don't read a lot of manga. I actually only read 2 manga at this point. And they're like, I actually hate one of them and I like the other. I read Record of Ragnarok and Killing Bites, and I think that Record of Ragnarok is really rough.
I think the worst part of Record of Ragnarok is like the like month you have to wait between releases sometimes or whatever.
It's the month, and it's like the weird. I don't like the backstories for like almost any of the characters, and then like they get the lot of the thing is like the laughing faces, and I think you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's like every other chapter is like either like 60 pages of dialogue or you get the fucking cool fights, and I'm more there at this point for the cool fights. The backstories don't really like add too much for me. But yeah,
you should read Killing Bites. Let me convert somebody.
I'm not gonna fucking read Killing Bites. Jesus Christ,
bro, it's hype as hell. They're fighting the dinosaur.
Listen, I don't doubt that it's hype as hell because you made us watch. I think I watched that series twice with you now at this point, right?
No, only once. I only watched it once. We marathoned it.
I thought we marathoned it again to make Nico watch it or something. At some point. Oh, I feel like we did, but yeah. Either way, yeah.
No, that series. It's like the one manga that keeps me coming back. It's just too dank. I
mean, after watching that series, let me see if I can find it. Oh, I found it. Here it is. I even made a shitty ass meme after watching that series. If you remember, here I'll throw it up in chat. There it is, dude. This fucking shitty ass meme. Oh my god.
Like how this is like something you are upset by.
Yeah. It's because she says that phrase every episode.
Yeah, that was a good show.
Oh shit! And the National Geographic shit though with this show was really good. That's like some of my favorite parts.
It's in the manga too. It's like randomly like a really super detailed drawing of an animal, and they're like, "Did you know that? I don't know. Your fucking dog has the Sharingan." because it can learn tricks, and then she fucking starts copying moves of the opponent. You're like, this is the most hype fucking battle manga.
Most hype thing on earth.
Yeah, I don't know. This show is actually pretty high, but also I don't ever feel like I need to read the manga.
Oh no, the manga is so unhinged, and it has like legitimately good art. I think that's the thing is like I don't read a lot of manga, and every time like in a second that there's like even close to subpar art, I just close it. So like I don't. That's a big part of why I don't read any of it.
Okay, talking about shit anime, that's hype. I just remember the second season of Misfit Demon Lord of Demon Lord High bullshit or whatever it's called is out.
Yeah.
I watched the first episode. I was like, where are they gonna go with this? Didn't like they make like world peace and shit? And it's now like he has to kill the gods or some shit. Oh my god,
Just making shit up, dude.
dude.
Like,
Yeah, they're pulling so much
I'm
shit out of
still
their
like
ass.
a big problem with me is I'm still on like previous seasons. Like I haven't finished Tokyo Mew Mew, and I haven't finished Mob. And I'm supposed to watch Vinland Saga and Nier.
I love Nier, and I passed on it because someone told me the first episode was garbage.
Bro, we don't watch good shows in this house, okay? We watch bad shows.
I know you don't watch shows in this house.
I watch exclusively bad shows and dank shows, and there's no in between.
Oh man, I don't know. Yeah, you occasionally have a banger. Occasionally, Dean, you'll be like, "Look at this bad show," and I'm like, "Okay, this show's actually good."
Yeah. I mean, we watch a lot of stuff. I actually like a lot of anime. I think I actually like more anime than some people would like believe. Because I think I was like going through last year, and I was like, I think there was 15 shows I like, and it was like 16 shows I liked last year. And I'm like, wow, it's just amazing that none of those are the shows that normal people watch. And that wasn't even including dank stuff. That was like exclusively shows I thought were legitimately good.
All right, we've been kind of going long now. Anyone have anything else they want to talk about before we end the stream here?
Haru debuted a new segment on the PGH channel. People have been liking.
Oh yeah, I saw that. I got that in my
cards.
feed. Yeah.
Haru's Custom Corner, which if you've been in the Weiss content game for a while, should be a funny joke. For some of you. And people are really digging it. So if you have a custom set that you've made that you want him to look at, hit him up, send it to him. I've basically given him complete free reign to do whatever it is that he wants with that.
Do I send him MGQ?
He can do whatever he wants. Yeah, you can send him MGQ.
MGQ was really bad.
You have to be on it with him though. So
okay, I guess I'm gonna make a guest appearance on PGH soon.
You can do whatever you want. But yeah, that it's been very well received. So if that is something that you would like him to do, definitely hit him up. That's all I got.
Oh, I had one actually. Hopefully, this is a quick topic. But something that's come up recently in like the Marvel Snap community, and I think this like applies to every card game essentially, is this thing about like quote unquote deck ownership. Essentially, do you guys believe like deck ownership like even exists in like Weiss or in other card games or whatever?
What are you talking about?
So like, there's been this issue because this will definitely happen very easily in Marvel Snap because decks are only 12 cards, right?
Right.
So like, there's only so many ideas and so many like iterations of cards you can put in a deck to be like quote unquote unique, essentially, or whatever. But like, for example, a content creator will feature a deck that like they either made or tested or played on stream, and then people in the comments will get mad and be like, you stole this from this other content creator that also made it popular or whatever, and stuff like that.
Bro, okay. Well, one, when it comes to decks, deck ownership, no, that's not a thing. I legitimately think that's not a thing. Even on the content ladder, it's like, if I take a deck from somebody else, but like their content, like, if I'm going through like tournament topping list and I find like a tournament topping list and make a deck profile over it, it's like, what are you supposed to do? Like say like I found this list online. Like that's pretty much like the only thing you really have to do, right?
Pretty much. I mean, like at the same time, this is at least these are my thoughts on it. Is that like you can never truly be the deck owner or like I was the one who created this specific like deck
No.
archetype or whatever. But it's more about um, like sure maybe someone else played it before you, but this content creator or this person made it popular first or like made
Yeah.
it aware. I think that's all you can really say at that point, right? Because I'm
Yeah.
sure at any given time, some random person who also plays the game could also be having the same exact ideas you have and be making like a very very similar list. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
I
there's
mean,
like a couple things with like deck ownership. It's like, I kind of understand a little bit, but I also don't. It's like, bro, like if somebody started, I don't know, like a lot of the things I'm thinking of are really old though, so it doesn't really matter. It's like the back when I had like the Kokoro Yukina list,
oh yeah,
and it's like that was very much like straight out of the kitchen, right?
absolutely. And then I
Um,
contributed the you need to play the one stock soul.
but yeah, it's like stuff like that's like straight out of the kitchen. But it's like after it happens, it's like I feel like that's like a deck ownership is something you have for like a small period after a regional, and like maybe if it never shows results again, then like you get to like claim ownership of that, but like never like in the moment, right?
Never. I don't think.
I mean, until like you either put up a result with it or like it's like it's not really yours.
Yeah,
And
well,
especially like for a random YouTube video, like a fucking YouTube video is like your idea is to churn out content. No content. Every content creator wants to put out like as many videos as they can in a week.
yeah, because I mean, a lot of these Marvel Snap content creators are like literally dropping 5 to 7 videos a week, right? And there's only so many.
There's
So
12
many-
cards in a deck. Yeah, what are you supposed to
Yeah,
do?
yeah, and like the cards are literally almost uncollectible in the game. So, I don't think anyone in the community has a full collection of cards yet, and I don't think that'll ever happen for the most part. But yeah,
I don't know. Deck ownership is like a thing that's like here's my thing, but like if you that's like only for like the regional, right? Like you pull your shit out and you hope that your dish is spicy enough at the end. That's the only time that it's like yours.
kind of. Yeah, it's yeah. You could be like you topped with this list or whatever, and you're like the only person who topped with this list. So obviously, if it becomes a popular list, you're the one that made it popular or whatever. But I don't.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
like when it's like something that nobody had on their radar, and then you pull out, and you're the only person in the room with it, but like you do really well, and then it starts to get like it's like yeah, you're the. It doesn't really matter. It's kind of like a meme, right? It's like if you make a meme, it's like nobody cares, but like it's a little bit something that you
Yeah.
can feel proud about.
Yeah. I mean, definitely. If no one should be getting their panties in a bunch about like, oh my god, this person like didn't give it perfect credit to like whoever originally came up with this list that I didn't even know about, before even.
Yeah.
I don't know, deck ideas and stuff like that, and in card games, there's only so many cards, especially like in like a card game, also like Weiss, that you only have such a limited pool of cards to deal with. Like, I don't. There's definitely no deck
Unless you're
ownership in
on like
existence.
what is that Kimono Friends deck that's like no climax combos? Like unless you're on something like Garasao, right? It's like Bushiroad probably built half the deck for you.
Yeah.
It's not like you did like a whole lot out there unless you're on like some absurd or like back when Standby first came out and like Standby decks were kind of like dog shit that you kind of like cobbled together.
Yeah. All right. I think that's basically all we have to talk about, right?
Well, it's a pretty long stream, so yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're glad to have Dean back. Hopefully, we get to see you at regionals, and hopefully, we have a lot of fun topping with some of our meme deck lists. No, I don't
Hopefully.
think. I don't think my deck list is too much of a meme.
I'm gonna like I'm gonna go into the tank to see if I can make something work. It won't be a meme if I show up to a regional. I don't think it's a meme. Just so you guys know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait. Oh,
I don't show up with bad decks.
wait. Carmen and Hanson. Wait. Do you think the list I want to play is more of a meme? I think in teams it's totally fine, right?
I don't know the power level of it compared to like I think that my deck is legitimately fire. Once I get the perfect 50.
The perfect.
I think that the meta will allow it.
I think your list is like a bit after the prime of that deck.
It is true. It is a little bit after the prime, but also I think no one will really like in teams. It's like less important to have the most optimal list. I feel like, but also I think it'll throw off a lot of people initially, right? It's still,
Does it
still
count?
kind of.
Depends on what you're playing against. I think by that point, like I think Sword Art also comes out. And like if we're seeing like Alice's and stuff, that card like kind of denies a lot of decks.
Yeah, true. Oh, like Clinton and Chad just keep borrowing decks, Dean. Always had good luck
I'm
with
thinking
that.
I've had 3 tops with decks that aren't mine and 4 with decks that are.
Just like,
I
here,
didn't
Dean, play this list. Here, Dean, play this list.
Yeah, I borrowed the cards for one of those 4 that I include. So I guess that technically it wasn't my deck, but it really was. He had to go sleeve the cards for me. So it's basically 50-50, straight down the middle.
All right, but anyway, I think that kind of wraps up everything for us. Hopefully we start continue doing this more regular again once Dean's back now.
Yeah, I would need to get some Meme Mondays filmed again. We ran out.
Yeah.
Hopefully with some better problems. The camera setup is hard, okay? It's harder to record.
All right, I guess we'll be seeing you guys later. You guys want to say goodbye? I guess Carmen, Hanson.
See you guys.
Right. See you.
Yeah, see you guys. See you.